From the blog. With this project, we are embarking on a journey to explore a single question. How do we come together to improve the experience of all life on this planet? Like the roots of a tree, this primary question sends out multiple sub-questions, each leading to sub-questions of their own. This process creates an exponential growth pattern which quickly proves unsustainable, and the effort ends with the conclusion, the problem is unsolvable. We could put more computing power to the problem. Indeed, that is how we have been going about the attempt with smarter and smarter minds, but we are still flailing in the dark. AI provides us with the opportunity to apply a great deal more computing power to the investigation of the problem, but as we will soon see, this leads only to a more comprehensive landscape of questions, and doesn't get us any closer to the answers. The use of AI also raises complex moral problems, which we will address in another episode. For now, we will continue to use all the resources available to us, including AI, where appropriate, filtered through our own experiential lens. It is with this holistic approach that we hope to point to the answer. Much like in theological pursuits of a god, the ineffable is understood at first by implication and not by direct experience. Alan Watts compared it to a sculptor removing pieces of stone to reveal the form within, symbolizing the spiritual journey of stripping away misconceptions, false identities, and superficial understandings to uncover more profound truths and realities. In the context of our initial question, we can work as a sculptor on the density created by infinite possibility in order to explore and decide the optimum form our project takes. This is a key distinction from humanity's previous attempts. Where before these manifestos appear with a decided, prescriptive definition of the form, this is intended as a process which finds a way to include everyone, moving slowly enough that chaos can be settled into order. As we have already identified, there is infinite potential, and we could get stuck for decades on each point. That is what we've been doing since the earliest philosophers. Let's try something else. One of the first problems we will encounter when exploring the question, how do we improve the experience of all life on this planet, is the fact that we have conflicting ideas about what a good life looks like. Rather than weigh us down with countless examples of subjective preferences that contradict one another, let's take a bird's eye view of them. The resolution of two positions that are, by their definition, opposed is impossible. How then do we proceed? With the questions already mounting, we need a way of holding them in an unanswered state, so that we can remain flexible enough to ask enough of the questions for a meta-question to emerge. It's like the computer in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The answer was 42, but what was the question? The meaning of life was only the first layer of the problem. Earth was the computer itself, tasked with finding the question. It got destroyed to make way for a hyperspace bypass just before the computation was due to complete. A genius joke, but let's make sure it's not close to the mark, eh? We are on a knife edge as a species, and it's time we had a good faith attempt at solving this great question. Imagine how much fun we'll all have when we're over the guilt, shame, anger, pain, victimization, lust, suffering, and fear. But how do we get there? This is what we are on a path to discover. The power of story, myth, and metaphor. The topics we intend to explore are complex and wide-ranging. Some will be rooted in the intellectual space where rationality and logic will serve us well. Others will be rooted in the intuitive space where ideas become somewhat harder to describe. Thought versus feeling and head versus heart are two ways of conceptualizing this duality. In order to explore and unpack these topics, we will need a framework to build upon. There are many established schools of thought which we could plug into, but this experiment seeks a more united approach. Instead of asking, who is right, the rationalist or the empiricist, we ask, can they break bread together? Our framework, therefore, needs to be one that can hold opposing schools of thought. We can look to esoteric teachings to help us with this. The integration of opposites is a part of alchemy, often symbolized by the union of masculine and feminine principles, the alchemical marriage, which leads to a higher state of balance and unity. As we journey through this wide and ranging landscape, we will be exploring spiritual themes and language as a tool. It's important we make clear that the terms we use are not dogmas we subscribe to. We are simply recognizing the utility of using stories, myth, and metaphor in order to hold complex ideas within an intellectual space. Story exists to help us net down nebulous ideas from hard-to-reach places. Joseph Campbell, who wrote extensively and profoundly about the importance of myth, will be a figure we return to time and again. With this in mind, let's circle back to alchemy. Alchemy is a practice generally understood as turning base metals into gold. As a pursuit, it is often taken literally and dismissed. Taken as a story that symbolizes the transmutation of our own character, behavior, and mindset, we see a powerful metaphor. Alchemy takes the leaden weight of fear and turns it into the golden light of love. Alchemy and the great work. Alchemy provides a fantastic set of tools to explore hidden aspects within us by delving into thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. By understanding their origins and consciously refining them, we align ourselves with higher principles. We'll do a deep dive into alchemy at a later stage, but for now, let's discuss the magnum opus, or great work, within the context of our mission. For the alchemist, the great work is a lifelong pursuit involving various stages that contribute to the overall transformation of the practitioner. While the great work is, at its core, a spiritual journey, we are using it more broadly. We want to include the profound understanding of self, cosmos, and the divine, but it's important to provide balance between the inner and outer work. Balance is an important key. Through the use of story, we can speak to the theist and the atheist as one. The great work goes beyond the union of body, mind, and spirit. Whilst achieving a holistic transformation of the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of self is perhaps the most important task we can undertake as individuals, there is a world with which we need to interact. We would do well to contribute to its well-being, as well as our own. The nuroots tree. To help us navigate the complexities of this project, we thought it useful to have a visual aid to serve as our framework. It's highly likely to evolve as we proceed, but for now we'd like to introduce the nuroots tree. The tree is composed of 3 parts: the branches, representing the outer work, the roots, representing the inner work, and the trunk, representing the great work. But what is inner and outer work? Inner work is the process of self-reflection, self-awareness, and personal transformation carried out by us as individuals. The work involves becoming aware of our own thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and the underlying patterns of our behavior. It can be a turbulent journey for us as we discover and address internal barriers, unresolved emotions, and subconscious patterns that might be impacting ourselves and others. Practices to improve our well-being and personal development include meditation, mindfulness, introspection, various kinds of therapy, and journaling. It's important to study and practice inner work to identify the suppressed, subconscious, and even unconscious aspects of our lives that do us harm, often in very subtle ways. Outer work refers to the tangible, observable actions and behaviours that we carry out as external aspects of our lives. It affects how we interact with the people around us, our environment, and how we behave as a collective. Outer work takes the form of goal setting, skill development, career advancement, building healthy relationships, and contributing to social or community initiatives. Good outer work involves engaging with the external world to bring about positive change, and is only made possible by carrying out good inner work. A tree can't grow healthily above ground unless its roots are healthy. The same can be said of a tree in the opposite direction. Without healthy growth above ground, the roots cannot prosper. Therefore, Our choices, actions, and the creation of external circumstances are key to experiencing a life we can enjoy. Connecting the roots and branches is the trunk of the tree. We can call this interconnectivity of inner and outer work the great work, as inspired by alchemy. The inner work provides the foundation for understanding oneself and fostering emotional well-being, while outer work translates that understanding into tangible actions and positive changes in one's external reality. With the inner and outer work interconnected, changes in one domain can influence the other. For example, developing self-confidence through inner work may empower an individual to pursue new opportunities in their career. Outer work. The great work is to identify, integrate, and act upon the changes necessary for a more meaningful, balanced, and fulfilling life. The image of the tree will help us visualize complex ideas as they unfold, and we can build upon the metaphor as time goes on. Why a tree? Trees hold significant symbolic and spiritual meaning in various esoteric, theological, mystical, and mythical traditions. They are often seen as powerful symbols of life, growth, wisdom, and connection between the earthly and divine realms. Here is a quick flyby of some traditions, highlighting the importance of trees and signalling the source of our inspiration. In Kabbalistic traditions, you have the Tree of Life, a central symbol representing the structure of divine emanations. It consists of 10 interconnected spheres, or sephirot, each representing a different aspect of the divine and the cosmic order. You also have the language of the roots and the language of the branches. The Tree of Life also appears in Genesis, along with the Tree of Knowledge of Good and Evil. Additionally, the cross, as a tree-like structure, is a central symbol in Christianity, representing the sacrifice and resurrection of Jesus Christ. In Druidism and Celtic mysticism, certain trees such as the oak and yew are regarded as sacred. Trees were believed to be portals to other realms, and specific trees were associated with wisdom, protection, and spiritual connection. In Norse mythology we have Yggdrasil, the world tree, which connects the 9 worlds and serves as a symbol of cosmic order and interconnectedness. In Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism we have the Kalpa Vriksha, the wish-fulfilling tree. Native American spirituality reveres certain trees like the cedar or the oak, seeing them as living entities with spirits, and using them in rituals and ceremonies. In Hermeticism, the as above, so below principle is reflected in the symbolism of trees, where roots connect the earth, below, while the branches reach towards the heavens, above. The psychiatrist and psychoanalyst Carl Gustav Jung wrote in his book Ion, Researches into the Phenomenology of the Self, "No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." Trees inspired Tolkien to create the Ents. Today, environmental movements often use trees as symbols of environmental protection and ecological balance. As you can see, the tree is more or less a universal symbol of life, growth, and wisdom. We humbly add our conception to the mix. Let's sit ourselves down in the shade of this nuroots tree and take a moment to reflect on the opening question: how do we come together to improve the experience of all life on this planet? We're no nearer to answering it in any measurable terms, and the more cynical minds may already have dismissed this all as a Pollyannish attempt of Panglossian proportions. To you we say, the attempt in and of itself is worth the time. The mistakes, the disagreement, the slow convergence, the easing, the revival, the peace. It's a journey we must all go on, individually and collectively. Our mission is twofold: to deepen our collective understanding of nature's intricate patterns, and to nurture human progress in harmony with the earth. We are explorers, not experts, students of life who are eager to learn, share, and grow together. With you, we hope to reimagine our societal foundations, fostering a world where cooperation, empathy, and holistic understanding replace division, conflict, and narrow-mindedness. We commit to building a future where every individual can contribute to and benefit from a society that values collective well-being, ethical integrity, and sustainable progress. We strive to create an inclusive and transparent platform for dialogue, grounded in first principles and natural law. We believe in the power of grassroots initiatives to weave together diverse efforts, creating a tapestry of positive change. In a world brimming with contradictions and challenges, New Roots stands as a beacon of hope and action. We seek to demystify complex issues, offer coherent insights, and inspire small, consistent acts of kindness and compassion. Our goal is not to idolize heroes, but to empower each individual to be a hero in their community. We envision a future where every need is met by systems designed with the heart, a future where education celebrates individuality, businesses thrive on cooperation, and every interaction is imbued with familial love and mutual respect. Through our podcast, we invite listeners to join us in this transformative journey. Together we will explore environmental stewardship, societal progress, and the many facets of human experience. Each episode is a step towards a world where balance, harmony, and connectedness are not just ideals, but realities. New Roots aims to be more than a podcast. It's a movement towards a future where we all wake up to a world that cares, nurtures, and flourishes, for us and by us.